All right, welcome back to Letters of Intent. We have a special episode today that's a little bit different than normal. Usually we get into the nitty-gritty of deals, but today we're talking about some current events that you guys may have been seeing on social media. Specifically, we're going to be episode maxing today. Yeah. Sahil, tell us a little bit more about what this topic is today and why it is relevant.
Listen, we don't want to get frame-mogged, so we've been paying attention to Clavicular here, who has taken the internet by storm. He's talking about Looksmaxxing. He was just interviewed by the New York Times, which titled their article, "Handsome at Any Cost." To be honest, this seems like a very self-destructive influence on society. I mean, we're talking about prioritizing looks over everything else, including contributions to society, or any other kind of metric that seems like it could be not self-centered.
Yeah.
But this is having a huge impact, and it's hard to ignore. I mean, in fact, our vocabulary has expanded. Today we know what mogging is, we know what a chat is, we know what looksmaxing is, and we can't ignore it. And we also can't ignore
to be honest, I did find out about that about 15 minutes ago after us talking and researching.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, I don't think I've really felt old many times. I am, in my 40s now, and I try to like stay young and hip. But honestly, this new trend, these kids really on social media, it's just a whole different world. I don't know how you feel about it.
Totally. I mean, this is a completely different world. The algorithms are definitely rewarding the most extreme behavior. I mean, you're talking about someone who apparently hammered his jaw, had his jaw hammered into place, promoting extreme forms of plastic surgery. So I don't think that this is a very healthy influence on society. I don't think it's one that we can ignore either. I mean, these are the next generation of entrepreneurs, these creators who are building personal brands, and they're going to have assets, they're going to have intellectual property, they're building brands that can be licensed. And I wanted to ask you, Pankaj, as someone who's an expert in IP, should Clavicular register a trademark for Looksmaxxing, or has he already?
That's a great question. Well, so let's do a little dive into this, Sahil, and actually see in real time, what he's done and whether he has protected the name, because he's kind of come to define this whole genre. There's a whole subculture here of looksmaxxing, and I just feel silly even saying the term, but it's really a culture of like these guys, I think on Discord, I forget like where they kind of talk about this, but there's a lot on Reddit. They have this whole community around people trying to like optimize their looks, right? Like it was a very narcissistic, clearly narcissistic, but not unabashedly narcissistic movement, right? And here they are trying to like maximize their looks, and this guy is leading the way. And he's done some crazy things, right? Like he's taken meth to stop eating, and like you said, hammered his jaw. Like it sounds a little bit borderline, right? Like it sounds a little borderline, some personality disorder. Like I think there's probably gonna be some study of him in the future of like what really is going on in his mind, because I think he's taken narcissism to a whole nother level.
Today people are asking him who he's going to vote for president.
Right.
They're not asking,
Right.
people who have studied political science and economics. And I mean, it's remarkable to be asking someone who is completely focused just on improving his appearance and has led a movement to improve appearance, who you're going to vote to operate one of the most complex governmental structures in the world. So I think he's landed on every major platform, and we can't ignore that. He's having a huge impact on society. He's being recognized by major publications and news stations. So let's dive in. I mean, he's building a huge business. Let's dive in. I mean, if we were advising him, I'd say, let's get that trademark, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly. Let's look at that trademark. And
Put it
apparently
on
he
some
hasn't yet.
t-shirts.
Yeah. I mean, right now we'll see like Ghost Global is there's two trademarks that are pending for t-shirts, but again, we don't know who owns Ghost Global. They're registered in Delaware. So Delaware actually is difficult to tell who's the owner of an entity. We could actually look into open corporates, let's say real quick. Let's see, share this tab. Let's say, do we know who Ghost Global, who might be the LLC there? Ghost Global. There is Delaware. Here we go. Ghost of the Gram. Harvard Business Services. Yeah, we don't have much information about Ghost Global.
Considering how anonymous the registration is, it could be him or
Well,
an
actually, here it
entity
is.
connected
Interesting.
to
Open
him.
Corporates does provide trademark registrations too, and they're actually Ghost of the Gram. That's their. So we could actually find out more here. Let's see who's the owner of this. So we just know the company, but they have this trademark, Ghost of the Gram. So this Ghost of the Gram is associated with Holy Ghost, a prominent Instagram influencer. So yeah, not him, right? So it's interesting.
Interesting.
He registered Looksmaxxing, but no one has it in the cosmetics realm. Someone tried to file a while back, and it looks like their mark was abandoned, and for probably not the best reasons. They didn't respond to the trademark application. It was pretty easy stuff to fix. So could be an opportunity for us here to
That's
jump on
right.
a valuable trademark because this seems to be a pretty popular term. And it's really only gaining in notoriety. And if you think about like cosmetics brands are really taking off right now. I mean, this is when you talk about branding, I mean, this is the hot brand right now that everyone's talking about. And if you now sell cosmetics with this, who knows, what you could do and how you could leverage it. So
So, I wanted to explore. Are you saying that someone has registered the trademark, but for something else, just for apparel?
exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what's happened. So someone's registered for something for apparel. Someone did file a trademark last year for grooming preparations for men, but their trademark was abandoned. So now, that's available as well. But
So, if Clavicular hasn't registered this trademark yet, there's still an opportunity to register the trademark for something that is not clothing.
that's exactly right. Yes, exactly
Okay.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
And what's the benefit? What would be the reason to do that?
Well, now you have rights in the name, right? Now, once you have a trademark, you have a presumption that you own the name, that you own the brand, and people have to fight that. They may be able to say, "Oh, well, we were using the term earlier," or maybe it's you know, they could argue against it, but at least you have the presumption by having the trademark that you have the rights.
So, is it better to have the trademark before you put that name, let's say, on a t-shirt or some kind of promotional material?
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's always better to have a trademark than not to have a trademark. Using the mark in commerce first is good because now you've established common law rights. But having a federal trademark is ideal because now your rights, even if you're only in like the southwest of the U.S., you have rights to expand throughout the country, and then you could potentially use that application to file in other countries as well. So you could really leverage that mark into a really valuable viable business by filing a trademark now.
I kind of like thinking about the difference between common law rights and trademark registration as a sword and a shield, because you have a shield when you introduce common law rights by putting your mark in commerce, but you get a sword when you actually file the trademark registration. Is that correct? That then you're able to file a lawsuit against someone and enforce more of monopolistic rights over the name.
Right, exactly. It's a good analogy. It is a sword and a shield because the trademark is both defensive and offensive, right? You have the right to file lawsuits. You can enforce it. There's additional remedies that you have that you wouldn't have without a federal trademark, and also then you have to kind of prove a lot more. Fundamentally, also there's like in terms of damages, you have to kind of prove actual damages, and that could be expensive with a common law mark. But if you have a federal mark, now you can actually claim remedies and also attorney's fees if you bring that case in federal court.
So I think it's fair to say if you want to IP-maxx and you don't want to get frame-mogged by some other IP attorney, you need to call Carbon Law Group.
you you could say that. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could.
Well, thank you all joining us for this very special episode of Letters of Intent. I'm going to go hammer my job before the next episode,
I'm
and
gonna
we
go
will
down.
see you all back here.
My looks maxing days may be behind me. Unfortunately, he popped up on my feed again today talking about hair loss, and he's like, I
Yeah,
can't even
what's the
repeat what he said
solution?
about it.
Yeah,
The question was, would you rather lose your hair or an appendage of your body?
okay.
And he says a certain appendage of your body, uh,
Wow.
and uh, and I was like, wow, okay, well,
But then what's the point of the hair?
yeah.
Or what's the point of the appendage? Sorry, what's the point of the appendage?
So yeah, I mean,
Wow.
it's a whole different world, and maybe who knows? Maybe a lot of this is for clicks. I mean, he knows what is getting clicks right now. People seem to be really engaged by this content. Women and men follow him. We'll see where it goes. I have a feeling it's not going to end well.
How many, you know what? We say that too. We look at a number of potential clients and often come to that conclusion. So those are times where we step in, and I think if Clavicular came to us, it would be no different. We would say, look, let's focus on building your IP. Let's IP-maxx. Let's get your contracts in order, your corporate governance in order. You've got a chance to build a serious business here. Let's focus on the positive.
Let's not mog. Let's not mog it up. Let's not mog it up.
No, we want to
Oh,
mog.
mog. Oh, we want to. Oh, we
Yeah,
are
mogging
mogging.
is good. Yeah, yeah. We're trying to mog the other
Cut that last
attorneys.
part. I sound like I don't know anything. Okay, so let's mog it up. Let's mog it up.
Let's mog it up. You heard it here first. Thank you all for joining us on this very special episode of Letters of Intent. Stay tuned.